Tonight we'll talk to the mother of a murder victim. She lost her second son to gang violence in 2 years. And Gamboa's visa gone? Why did the U.S. revoke the superintendent's visa? We'll have possible answers. Plus, hero pilot Howell Grange. He saved 15 lives in a hijacking, but tonight, the courageous pilot is without a salary. We'll tell you why Tropic Air took him off the payroll. Also, a mother speaks out after her daughter's uncle tried to molest the child. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, November 24th, 2025. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Sheree Kelsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
On August 30th, 2023, the governor of the Central Bank of Belize, UDP, appointed Kareem Michael, acting as registrar of credit unions, appointed one of his close colleagues as administrator of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union. What was described as an interim measure has now dragged on for over 2 years with no end in sight. So the question is simple. Why is the government allowing Mr. Michael and the central bank to use heavy-handed tactics against the credit union movement?
Do you remember when Tracy was all hot and bothered in support of teachers and public officers getting a raise in salary? Pay them more, she said. We love them, she said.
The public officers and the teachers are the movers and shakers of our economy, the movers and shakers in our country.
But then she turned on teachers and public officers.
The members on this side of the House will not support the bill in its current form.
You can never trust Tracy or the UDP. Never forget.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you produce your driver's license, please?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, Mr. Vernon, it's valid.
Yep.
Mr. Vernon, did you know your insurance will be up tomorrow?
Oh, really?
Make sure you try to update your policy, please.
Thanks so much for the heads up. Babe, can you please renew my policy?
We know that you get caught up in life sometimes, which is why RF&G Insurance makes renewing your insurance policy easy with WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service you are interested in, select the service, and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Use WhatsApp and skip the lines. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Roe Group company.
Are you still circling around the city, searching high and low for a parking spot? Stop wasting time, energy, and, most importantly, costly fuel. Bring your ride to the downtown plaza parking lot and park your baby in a safe, dedicated space. No need to risk parking on the streets where your baby can be scratched, dented, or bumped. Downtown Plaza parking lot offers safe, easy, and convenient parking right in the heart of the city. Just head to Albert Street, make a right turn on Bishop Street, and you are there in a secure, worry-free environment. Imagine the peace of mind knowing your car is in a safe spot while you enjoy your day. So, don't delay. Park with confidence at the Downtown Plaza parking lot, where convenience meets safety and peace of mind is guaranteed.
What made me want to start my journey in terms of owning a home was basically me having my own space, my own domain, and having something extremely special for my family. That feeling was indescribable. It was amazing, you know, moving in the first time, seeing all the new furniture, the new paint, the new accessories. I was amazed. Home for the holidays means to me bonding with my family, having an amazing time in the Christmas spirit. I would highly recommend Atlantic Bank's personal loans for home renovations because of what it did for me. I fixed my kitchen, I fixed my storage, I fixed my master bedroom, my showers, you name it, I fixed it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Driving around, particularly during this holiday season, can be quite an experience. Families are out shopping and the streets are buzzing with excitement. It reminds me that this season is all about connections, and it starts with how we treat each other, even on the road. When I'm behind the wheel, I always remind myself that being on the road is more than just following the rules. It's about looking out for each other and making sure we all get home safely to our families. This season, let's continue to be alert and be kind on the road. Be courteous, give way, and stay safe. A message from BEL.
Hey Belize! Our country is known worldwide for its natural beauty, from our barrier reef to our rainforests. But there's a growing threat to our paradise. Global plastic production has skyrocketed to 400 million tons per year, and without action, plastic waste flowing into our waters will nearly triple by 2040, from around 11 million tons in 2016 to around 29 million tons in 2040. Here at home, the situation is just as concerning. In 2024 alone, Belize imported over 13.3 million plastics and over 12 million plastic lids and caps. What might seem like just one plastic bottle or one chips bag adds up quickly. During our National Cleanup Day, almost 26,000 plastic bottles were collected, and that's just one day of effort. But here's the good news. We can all be part of the solution. Use waste bins, keep a litter bag in your car, wait until you find a proper disposal site. These simple actions make a real difference. Join us in keeping Belize clean. Our Belize, our responsibility. Bini.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Superintendent Superintendent of Police Aaron Gamboa. He became a household name during his recent school bag drive. But on Saturday, he became a national sensation for something far less special. Gamboa's U.S. visa was revoked. He went to the airport on Saturday with his wife to board a flight to the U.S., but that's where Gamboa learned that his visa had been pulled. His wife was permitted to fly. Gamboa told us he believes that the visa was flagged based on the Joseph Budna abduction, where SPU officers were allegedly involved, and he is the unit's commanding officer. He told us he has, quote, nothing to do with the Budna thing. I'm clean. A U.S. Embassy rep told us, quote, visas regularly gets revoked, end quote. He added that the embassy cannot make comments on specific visa approvals or rejections, but added, quote, after issuance of a visa, if the department becomes aware of new, potentially adverse information, a consular officer reviews that information to determine whether the applicant remains eligible for a visa, end quote. And with that high-profile revocation, there have been wild rumors of many others in law enforcement and politics. But again, there is no confirmation on any of that. And based on our information, we can say that there is nothing to suggest that there has been any targeting or specific escalation of visa revocations in Belize. We will keep following it closely. Just after midnight on Friday, there was another murder in the city, and like so many others before it, it was gang-related. But in this case, it was Denise Stewart's second son taken by gang violence. She spoke to us today.
When Denise Stewart looks at her cell phone, she keeps coming back to this voice message, a warning to her son that came too late.
I know how to come in by front side and the sheet. Because I don't know the way. I make a front of Maria house, a front of Putin house. Police pass right now, okay? Because the boss of the dynamite just now, and after the dynamite done boss, one lot of gunshot. So mine heard pass that you done.
He never got the message, and it wasn't dynamite. It was a barrage of gunfire, all targeting the same son. She was trying to warn.
Not knowing when I call my son and I tell my son that my son get shot up right there.
Daniel Tillett was shot and killed just 100 feet from his home by gunmen waiting for him to return from the casino at 12:30 a.m. on Saturday.
Apparently, what I get to understand is that they went down the street down here now, make the phone call and say he'd come in, and they want me to wait right by the greenhouse here in front of the garage. And right there, so they lay with her and ambush her.
There are multiple gangs in the neighborhood, and it seems they all wanted him dead. After one of the gangs murdered his younger brother, Gabriel, in 2023, Tillett had tried to escape his fate by running to the U.S., but that didn't work, and he self-deported 1 year ago. And even though he'd gotten work at a call center and was building a small home in the family yard for his own young family, he found himself right back in the crosshairs of the gangs in his neighborhood. He couldn't escape.
He couldn't escape.
Couldn't escape.
He said next year, I'm going back. Next year, he said, I'm going back next year. Because he try to get out of this violence with the going to Belize, you know. You can
escape it.
You can't stand a chance to Belize, you know, if you're a male person.
The odds were narrow, and for this young father of a 1-year-old, they were almost nil, even as he tried to defy them.
He said, Ma, I don't do nobody nothing back here. He said, he know what they hide and put for his life and not live for his life because he have to hide from them. And that's why he still passed the street here.
And that's the same street they killed him on, a death that sadly seemed foretold.
They killed my first son because of my second son when they want to kill. And they couldn't catch it, and then my next son, they have a mental breakdown, I think. And then due to him have a mental breakdown, he started to be friend with everybody. And I tell her, Gabriel, them boy than your friend. They don't like Daniel and they want to hurt you because that's why they try really to make you get close to them. Make you think. He said, man, them boy straight, them boy alright, man. You know? And they killed my son.
They were both killed close to home, on or off Antelope Street. And now this mother, who has lost 2, has 1 surviving son.
I just said about my other son now because I don't know if they have a thing for him to know. And he not fool with nobody. He ain't got friends. He ain't go nowhere.
And between grief, protectiveness, and self-preservation, this mother is doing her best to hold up.
Well, I try my best way to keep myself together because apart from all of this stuff, I have one illness where I face right now. I just get diagnosed with cancer like last year December. So, and I just come back from radiotherapy 2 weeks ago. So I try contain myself and not try to break down too much and not try stress out myself and things like that, you know, because all of that could put and toll back on my situation to where I have.
Police today said it was 3 gunmen and they were captured on the police surveillance cameras.
Initial investigations revealed that Tillit was traveling on a motorcycle on Antelope Street from the direction of Marlene Leslie Street, heading towards Hilda Foreman Street, when 3 male persons, each armed with a firearm, exited a yard on Antelope Street extension and fired several shots to him, which resulted in his fatal injury. The 3 male persons then made good their escape onto Ruben Morales Street in that area. The scene was processed and the body of Tillit was transported to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, where it now awaits a post-mortem examination. A police camera in the area was able to capture the entire incident, and the video footage is now being carefully reviewed by the investigators with a view to finding the persons responsible for this murder. Tillit is known to police having been previously charged for the 2021 murder of Deron Hernandez. No motive has been established so far. However, we do have reasons to suspect that Mr. Tillit was an active player in the activities in that area.
More than a dozen expended shells were found on the scene. And from the pattern of violence that follows gang activity to the next that arises from domestic violence, tonight, a female police officer remains hospitalized following a violent stabbing incident. Her attacker is alleged to be her partner, who is a Coast Guard officer. And when we asked police about it today, well, they would not release even the name of the victim, but told us that they have 1 person detained.
On Monday, 24th November 2025 at approximately 5 o'clock a.m., police was alerted via the control room of an ongoing domestic dispute at a residence on Gibnut Street, Belize City. The officers proceeded to that location, and upon their arrival, they were advised by a male occupant of that property that his common-law wife was in the room. Police officers were led to that room where they observed a female with several apparent stab wounds to her body and in a semi-conscious state. She was immediately transported to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital, where she remains now in a stable condition. Yes, a male person has been detained in relation to this incident.
We'll let you know when charges are brought. We'll take a break now. When we come back, there's still a lot more news. We'll tell you how hero pilot Howell Grange was dropped from Tropic Air's payroll. And later on, one mother tells us why she's pressing charges after her 14-year-old daughter's uncle tried to molest the young girl. Don't go away.
At Benny's, we have tiles to match any decor, whether it's classic, modern, or bold. Visit a Benny store near you to meet with a sales representative that will assist you in calculating and selecting the right tiles for your floors and walls. Choose from our vast assortment of colors, textures, styles, and finishes. The perfect tile for every space at a price that can't be beat. Whether you're renovating your kitchen or finishing your ideal office space, Benny's Tile Gallery has it all. Benny's, quality and savings.
Want all the postpaid perks without the commitment? Now you can with Smart Supercharged prepaid plans. All the talk, text, and data you need. No contracts, no hassle. Pay upfront for your package and enjoy total freedom. No commitments. Just simple, flexible plans that fit your life. Pick your power, Core, Edge, or Prime. Prepaid plans, ready when you ready. Commit to no commitments and get yours today. Dial 7526 or star 100 pound key, use the Smart app, or visit a Gimme Dollar agent to purchase today. Smart, bringing people together.
Enhanced service and faster sickness benefit claim processing are at your fingertips with SSB's healthcare feature, accessible via the My Social Security self-service portal. Your convenience during illness is key. Now your doctor can certify your period of illness, and your employer can confirm your employment details digitally, eliminating the need to visit our office. But wait, it gets better. You can also review the medical certificate provided by your doctor in your My Social Security account, along with real-time processing updates, keeping you informed. To ensure a smooth process, always review your electronic medical certificate before you hit submit. Upon submission, your employer is notified via email of your claim submitted to SSB and must respond within 48 hours for your claim to be automatically processed. For more information, check out our guides on our website and YouTube pages. Social Security at your fingertips.
On August 30th, 2023, the governor of the Central Bank of Belize, UDP, appointed Kareem Michael, acting as registrar of credit unions, appointed one of his close colleagues as administrator of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union. What was described as an interim measure has now dragged on for over 2 years with no end in sight. So the question is simple. Why is the government allowing Mr. Michael and the central bank to use heavy-handed tactics against the credit union movement?
We will continue to advocate for those who need access to higher education, to basic services in health, to housing, to land, to jobs.
Loan jokes. Where was the advocacy when you were in power, Tracy? Higher education? It is the PUP that brought free education to 23 high schools countrywide. Basic health services? It is the PUP that is taking NHI countrywide and is building 2 new hospitals. Jobs? It is the PUP that is providing thousands of new jobs, training and supporting entrepreneurs, and empowering women. Housing? It is the PUP that is providing houses to deserving Belizeans. The UDP didn't build one in 13 years. And land? It is the PUP that has provided land to first-time land owners, public officers, teachers, all across this country. Where was your voice when you had power and the people needed you? It's too late for you and the UDP.
The journey towards owning a home was a family decision, as we needed stability and security. And it was a financial investment that we would have for our family's legacy. Getting a home loan from Atlantic Bank was very easy. The officers there were able to walk you through the process and you were able to ask questions. Moving into our home for the first time was a blessed and happy experience. I remember turning the key for the first time, and the family was so excited to see our new home where we'll be making new memories in.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Belize, it's a new day for the United Democratic Party. On Sunday, November 30th, join us at Bird's Isle in Belize City for our national convention, a day of unity, renewal, and hope for our great UDP family. Come be part of history as we elect new executive leaders, discuss the future of our movement, and celebrate together with food, drinks, and great company. Together we move forward, stronger, united, full of hope. See you at Bird's Isle, Sunday, November 30th.
The ocean is the one constant thing in my life that I've known since I was a young girl. It's kind of hard to choose just one moment when you have so many. From a very young age, I was very fortunate that my dad actually took the time out right here on this beachfront. I remember him teaching me how to swim, and I never forgot it.
I remember being out here sailing from the age of 7, and just being out here in the environment by mangroves, seeing marine species, really pushed my drive to want to get into marine biology and furthermore conservation.
Growing up, I used to be very scared of corals. I used to always think to myself, I don't want to get too close to it, until I started working for an organization that plants corals, and that's where I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
So when I was 12, I had a field trip with my primary school, and when we docked onto Dovsky, I remember just seeing piles and piles of filleted parrotfish. And at the time, I knew that parrotfish was a protected species, and that moment definitely had an impact on me and had me wanting to get into conservation and push more for not only protected species, but all species.
Throughout the whole entire data collection of our Ocean News Survey, we did a lot of time across 28 different coastal communities. We got a chance to interview people from various sectors, from fisheries to tourism, to coastal development, to energy, to marine and coastal ecosystems. So we actually learned a lot about what are the current economic activities occurring in our ocean space.
In the study, I was an enumerator. I went around using the Ocean News Survey on our devices, whether that be tablets, laptops, phones. And we went around mapping the areas along the coast that people held value, whether that be to fishermen, to just residents who like to swim. And it taught me a lot about the value it had to these people, because I went to areas in Corozal and I heard stories from fishermen about, this area would have a lot of fish like 20 years ago.
I remember I was in high school, third form, when Fragments of Hope came to our school and gave the class an opportunity to visit their coral restoration nursery at Laughing Bird Key. That was the first time I got to be one-on-one with a coral on an educational aspect. And that moment changed my entire life, because to this day, I still work for that very same organization. One of the biggest concerns with the ocean right now is climate change. The ocean is getting warmer and warmer, and that will have a snowball effect on a number of different things, like ocean acidification affecting crustaceans. Just the general high increase in temperature is going to affect the corals that we have, and we know Belize has the largest living barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere. What will that look like for us in the next 10 years?
It's not that they don't have sustainable practices. I think there needs to be more. And that's the whole point of the Belize Sustainable Ocean Plan.
Involving youth and young professionals are beneficial for this because young people bring new perspective, they bring creativity, and they may also bring new ideas to the table. They may also identify new issues and also bring new solutions that older generations might not see. Just having youth be more connected to that space, I think would be very fruitful and would create future stewards of our ocean.
Any youths out there who have interest in the ocean or grew up near the ocean should volunteer their time, seek organizations like Fragments of Hope, and see how they can make a difference in the world, because it just takes one fragment. My biggest hope is that we save our barrier reef, because majority of the Belizean population depend on it for livelihood, for tourism, and it's very important that we get people more involved in the ocean space.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
It's been a tumultuous 2025 in Belize, but probably if you had to pick a man of the year, it might be Tropicair pilot Howell Grange. His courageous and heroic action saved 15 lives in a Tropicair caravan after they were hijacked by a deranged U.S. military veteran, Akiniela Taylor. The road to recovery for Grange has not been easy. He suffered major injuries when the hijackers stabbed him 10 times at close range. That he survived is a miracle, but the hard part has been recovery. And as of October 31st, that process just became a lot more complicated, and that's because 7 News has learned Tropicair took Grange off its payroll. Basically, they stopped paying him. The company reportedly told him he can come back to work, but only as a pilot. The possibility of a desk job was refused, as we understand it. A Social Security Medical Board has ruled Grange 100% unable to fly, and he is currently receiving a temporary disability payment, but it is only about a fifth of what he used to earn when he was a salaried employee. The 40-year-old still has major medical issues, and his doctors considered to be quite a ways off from ever flying again. We did reach out to the Tropicair CEO, Max Grief, who just a few minutes ago told us, quote, in appreciation of Captain Howell Grange's efforts on April 17th, Tropicair proudly provided him with uninterrupted salary during his time while not working, along with significant support including medical expenses, international travel accommodations, home, furniture, and other assistance in our continued effort to honor every request he made of us. Mr. Grange remains an employee with Tropicair, and we look forward to welcoming him back to the cockpit or another open position in the company that he is qualified for when he chooses to do so. Due to the legal action that Mr. Grange has embarked upon, Tropicair has been drawn into, we cannot provide any further details. End quote. 2 weeks ago, a Canadian woman was found dead at her spa in western Belize. 67-year-old Marty Torn was found with multiple stab wounds at her resort called Raw Spa near Bullet Tree Village. Today, police gave us an update on the case. ASP Stacey Smith told us that her alleged murderer was already en route to El Salvador when they picked him up.
As it relates to the murder of Marty Arn Thorne that occurred on 9 November 2025, on 17 November 2025, police formally arrested and charged Gain Eldred Waite, a 25-year-old Belizean construction worker of Bullet Tree Falls Village, Coyote District, for the murder of Thorne. Waite was deemed a person of interest very early into the investigation. However, he fled the jurisdiction, and as a consequence of liaising with Interpol counterparts in Guatemala, Mr. Waite was detained while seeking to board a plane in Guatemala City that was en route to El Salvador. He was handed over to police and he has since been charged. Whilst we do know that Mr. Waite was familiar with Ms. Thorne, no clear motive has been established into this incident.
According to Canadian News, Thorne has been living in Belize since she was a young woman and had returned to Canada during the COVID-19 pandemic. She returned to Belize around 6 weeks ago. And that murder is sadly one in a list of crimes that have been occurring in Bullet Tree these past 2 months. During today's police press briefing, ASP Smith said that because of the community's geographical location along the Belize-Guatemala border, it is ripe for crimes of opportunity.
As a follow-up to the incidents that were occurring in the Guanabelly Road area of Bullet Tree Falls Village, I must advise that police were able to recover the Dodge Ram pickup truck that was stolen in the previous incident, and as well as making an arrest of one Luis Castellanos in a subsequent aggravated burglary incident in that area. I cannot underemphasize or overemphasize the need for persons to be very alert, especially when it is that they have, established their homes in areas that are somewhat remote. Persons are in the habit of taking advantage of this. In both of those incidents, we noted that it was when the occupants of the home were making their way into their property that they were accosted. This suggests that they were being observed by these persons. So we ask that persons take the necessary precautions. If you're able to invest in CCTV camera, if you're able to invest in dash cams, this can all aid in terms of reducing the amount of property crimes that are in the country. And I also want to urge persons that they not contribute to the prevalence of theft by buying properties that are the proceeds of stolen goods. Yes, you may believe that you're getting a good deal, but a good deal never comes from the misfortune of someone else.
Dagriga's Treasury office gets burglarized more or less once a year. It happened in 2023, 2024, and now 2025. In at least 2 of those cases, the robbers took the whole vault and they have made off with tens of thousands of dollars from the public purse. And no arrests have ever been made. It happened again on Friday when police say they got off with less than $1,000.
Police are investigating the burglary of Dangriga Treasury Building, which occurred sometime between the late night hours of Thursday, 20th November, and the early morning hours of Friday, 21st November, 2025. The investigation commenced on Friday, November 21st, 2025 at approximately 8 o'clock a.m. when police responded to reports of a burglary at the Treasury Building in Dangriga Town. Upon arrival, they were informed by a staff member that at about 7:45 a.m., she discovered that the establishment had been burglarized and that a safe containing a small amount of cash was stolen. Scenes of crime personnel were summoned to the scene and several items of evidential value has been retrieved and are in the process of being submitted to the National Forensic and Science Services Laboratory with a view to see if it will advance the investigation. I know suggestions have been made that it was a large amount of money. I can categorically say that that is not the case. The Treasury is not in the practice of keeping large sums of money in that building. It was just under $1,000.
Previous burglaries resulted in the theft of tens of thousands of dollars. Keeping it in Dangriga, during the Garifuna Settlement Day celebrations, a teenager was stabbed near a bar while he was out socializing. Police gave us an update on that incident and what charges were levied against his attacker.
Acting upon information received on Wednesday, 19th November 2025 at approximately 10:37 p.m., Dangriga Police responded to the Island Breeze Bar, proceeded to the Island Breeze Bar Grill located at the corner of Riverside and Chatouille Street in Dangriga Town, having been advised that a male person was injured in a stabbing incident. Upon the arrival of police, they learned that this male person was escorted to the Southern Regional Hospital for treatment. Initial investigations revealed that at about 10:30 p.m., Gavin Armstrong, 18 years of age, was socializing at the Island Breeze Bar and Grill when an unknown male person approached him and inflicted the injury to him. Police have detained 2 male persons in connection with this incident, one of whom has been charged with attempted murder and is expected to be arraigned in front of the Dangriga Magistrate Court.
And also in the South, police have arrested and charged a Roaring Creek man for an attempted murder that happened in Punta Gorda, where 2 persons were shot. ASP Stacey Smith told us how surveillance footage led them to detain and charge 24-year-old Derek Bennett.
Crimes Investigation Branch personnel of Punta Gorda Police Formation have formally arrested and charged 24-year-old Derek Bennett of Magoon Street in Punta Gorda Town for 2 counts of attempted murder in relation to the shooting of Ashton Martin and Kelly Stevens, which occurred on 17 November 2025. Investigators have so far established that approximately 11:30 p.m. on the aforementioned date, 25-year-old Kelly Stevens and 41-year-old Martin were at an establishment on George Price Street in Punta Gorda Town when a male person entered that establishment and fired several shots at them, which resulted in their injury. During the investigation, police reviewed several surveillance video footages, which have proved to be of evidential value. Bennett, who had been identified as a person of interest in this matter, was initially detained shortly after the incident, and at that time of his detention, he gave police a false name. He was charged for mischievous act and was subsequently released, as at that time, sufficient information was not there to levy a charge against him. As the investigators continued their investigation, they were able to amass the necessary evidence that would require the charges to be levied, and a wanted person poster was subsequently made and an information message was distributed as efforts to locate Bennett within Punta Gorda Town proved fruitless. The officers in the Western region were able to apprehend Mr. Bennett in Kamalote village, and he was subsequently handed over to the investigators in Punta Gorda Town, where he was charged for attempted murder.
But what may have led Bennett to target these 2 persons? ASP Smith says they suspect it may have been drug-related.
The motive that we are suspecting to have caused this incident is drug-related. As a matter of fact, as a part of police investigation into that incident, an operation was launched by the GI3 personnel in their continued efforts to stem the illicit trafficking of drugs in that area. This search was conducted at a residence on Queen Street and an unoccupied property, And during the course of that search, a 9mm pistol was recovered, 2 9mm magazines, one of which is an extended magazine, 31 live rounds of assorted 9mm ammunition, and approximately 60 grams of crack cocaine separated in just under 300 parcels of small parcels. The firearm, believed to have been used in the shooting of Martin and Stevens, was packaged and submitted to the National Forensic and Science Services Laboratory for them to conduct testing to determine whether it was in fact used in that incident.
PG residents tell us the shooter was brought in from out west to do the shooting. Last week, we told you that the former senator and principal of Corazon Creek High School, 39-year-old Macario Coy, was accused of sexually assaulting a teacher. Police gave us an update on his charges today.
On Friday, 21st November 2025, police in Punta Gorda formally arrested and charged Macario Coy, a Belizean principal of Punta Gorda, for the offense of sexual assault. The arrest of Mr. Coy follows an investigation which commenced on 7th November 2025 when a female reported that whilst Mr. Coy was at her residence, he touched her inappropriately.
Police are currently investigating the robbery of a country foods delivery truck, which resulted in the shooting of the truck driver during the robbery. It happened in St. Margaret's Village on the Hummingbird Highway last week, Friday night, and the police were not alerted until they found the driver on the side of the road injured. ASP Smith told us more.
Upon arrival, the officers learned that at around 8:20 p.m., 3 Country Farm Products employees were traveling in a delivery truck. As they approached a speed bump, which was under construction near mile 32 in St. Margaret's Village, they observed a single cone that was placed in the middle of the roadway. As the driver slowed down to pass the obstruction, they heard a single gunshot, and subsequent to that, they were accosted by 2 masked male persons who exited a vehicle that was parked on the side of the road. Both of these male persons were armed with firearms, and they demanded that the occupants hand over money that was in their possession. The employees were removed from the truck, searched, and robbed of their personal belongings. The assailants then demanded that they handed over the key to the safe that is installed in the vehicle. However, none of the occupants had the key in their possession. While the robbers were searching the truck, 2 of the employees managed to escape into nearby bushes, and the 3rd employee was shot multiple times before the assailant fled the scene. The injured employee remains in critical but stable condition. Scenes of crime personnel were summoned to the scene, and police have reviewed the available surveillance footage in an effort to identify the vehicle and the suspects in relation to this incident. Although the review of these footages have thus far been unsuccessful, we are expanding the search and are hopeful that it will lead us to some information that will help us to advance this investigation.
Mark Antonio Rosales, last week, you heard how he was accused of scamming the owner of a car rental service. But that isn't the only accusation for a crime of dishonesty that Rosales faces. Today, 2 women came to our office and spoke with us off camera about an alleged Canadian work visa scam they found themselves tied up in after doing business with Rosales. They claim that they gave him thousands of dollars in exchange for promised assistance in getting a Canadian visa to go and work in Vancouver part-time. The woman claims that she also gave Rosales extra money to assist her in getting her husband's passport, who would be going with her. But in the end, she received no visa and no passport and has no info on Rosales' whereabouts.
What happened was that my uncle got a call that
a trip was leaving for Canada and they needed workers, right? You know how they usually do the worker exchange thing, all right? And my uncle informed us that we only needed $400 for a Canadian visa, and then we would be leaving to go to Canada and work, Vancouver to be specifically. And the guy in charge of it was this Mark Rosales. I called Mark, I spoke to Mark. He sounded legit. He explained a lot of stuff to me, made a lot of things was made transparent. And I ended up giving him some cash, about $640 cash. And I ended up depositing in his account about, I would say $950, thereabout. Right, almost $1,600 he received from me, $10 shy of $1,600 he received from me for payments for visa and passport, one-day passport, because two persons that were going did not have passport, and he said he could expedite the passport. So he collected for one passport from me and 3 visas, and he said that he would pay for my husband's passport and visa. Right? Okay, everything was going okay. He told us that he would come to pick up my husband and my stepson to go get the visa in the passport in Belmopan. He never showed. Instead we got a call and he said he's busy for them to meet him at Belmopan bus terminal for 9 o'clock the same day. So they went, you know. This was before they made the last deposit. Right? The last $400 deposit. So he was in contact with them all the while before they made that $400 deposit. When they already made that $400 deposit, he ghosted them. He did not answer them. They stayed at Belmopan bus terminal all day.
She says that they trusted him, but after doing a background check, they realized that they made a huge mistake, and they are not the only ones that got roped into this Canadian working visa scheme.
So my friend decided to Google his name. Lo and behold, the charges that were listed of fraud from this man, and that's when we knew that we really, really got hit hard. She lost $1,200. I lost $1,600. And most of the bank transactions, cash delivery was to Mark Rosales himself. Bank transaction was to Brittany Nicole Rodney. That was the person we were supposed to give. That was the person we deposited all our money to. Those of us who did it through the banking system. We have a group of we, like 25, 30 a week in this group, one group chat, and he get money from every jack one a week.
Again, we did try to reach Rosales by phone for comment, but it was straight to voicemail. He told us days ago he would hand himself into Curacao Police, but that hasn't happened. We'll take a final break, and when we come back, a mother is speaking out after her daughter's uncle allegedly sexually assaulted her child. And the Sapodilla Key Range, it's in Belizean territory, but it is claimed by both Guatemala and Honduras. Today, the Guatemalans presented their case to the ICJ, and we'll have that before we.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Shireen Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
One of the reasons I applied for a credit card at Atlantic Bank was because I travel a lot. I'm always going here and there and everywhere, and having that card made my life so much easier. I could literally charge everything. I had no issues. I don't have to worry about carrying money. And that has been one of the most effective points. Using my Atlantic Bank credit card has improved my life drastically. I learned to budget properly, the online service that it gives, the features that it has, and also knowing that when I'm shopping online, it has a protective feature for it. Having an Atlantic Bank credit card, especially having two sons that are always wanting something. They want to shop here and they want to shop there. The good part about it is I get to look at Atlantic online to see where my spending is and to make sure I'm staying in budget.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Hey, 06 para mañana.
89, 23.
16. Ya gané con el 10, con el 50 y con el 03.
Bolido ahora es más fácil. Ahora puedes jugar tu número de la suerte con Digi Wallet. Regístrate y deposita para comenzar. Descarga la aplicación de Bolido y elige Digi Wallet como tu método de pago y cobro.
¡Ya gané!
Cuando enviamos dinero.
Con Bolido gana.
Cuando hacemos recargas.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
This Christmas, get into the joy with Uno. Imagine winning a shiny motorcycle, a brand new TV, a brand new fan, or grocery coupons to make your holiday shopping easier. The surprises keep coming. All you have to do is visit Uno, and for every $25 on fuel, you'll get a coupon. Fill out and participate. Get 1 coupon for each quart of Uno lubricants or 2 for a gallon. Visit your nearest Uno gas station today. Fill your tank and drive into Christmas cheer with Uno. Uno gas stations.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. Once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the wires are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
It's just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, a mother is speaking out after she says her daughter's uncle sexually assaulted her. This Belize City mother took her 14-year-old daughter to Dangriga for the 19th to meet her father's family for the first time. She ended up staying overnight, and that's when her paternal uncle allegedly propositioned her, sexually assaulted her, and tried to force his way into her room. Her mother has made a police report in Dangriga but says she wants to make sure this case is not overlooked because she is concerned for the uncle's other nieces. To protect the identity of the child, we have concealed the identity and masked the voice of her mother.
So about after 12 the night, I saw my phone ringing, a video call, and my daughter was crying. So I said, what happened? What happened? So he started to tell me that his uncle was being inappropriate with her. So I said, what did he say? So he said he asked me to suck his private and for me to go into the room with him to have sex. And he touched me. So I said, what? So I said, where is your father? He said, I already told my dad. I said, your dad did nothing about it. He said, no, he did nothing about it. I then out the phone and I called the dad. I told him to get my daughter out of the house immediately to my friend up the street. About after 7 in the morning, he told me that they are going to deal with it internally within the family. So I don't make a scene. I told him, no, I'm going to deal with it. So I come forward because he have more nieces. And I don't know if he is doing to outsiders also. I know he cannot catch my daughter again, but what happened to the rest? What happened to the other kids out there?
So now since then, this person has reached out to you?
Yes, he has reached out to me about giving me money so that we can squash it. I don't want his money. I don't want his money. Nothing that he can give me will come up to what me and my daughter is going through at the moment. He can keep that. My daughter is going through a very trauma and everything that would have affected me also. But it's hard. They do this thing to these girls and they don't know how it affect you at the end of the day. So I could never say take up money or anything or just drop this case. I want the law to deal with him to the fullest extent. He will pay for what he did to my daughter through the courts. That won't happen. I won't give up. Because I know from the time I took my daughter to the police station, I know the system. I know it will be a lot of going up and down until the case. Sometimes it takes 2-3 years. But within that time, we'll be ready for them.
The mother tells us the uncle has been detained pending charges. She also let us hear a recorded phone call where he is offering to do anything to make the charges go away. They lie 40 miles due east of Punta Gorda town, and the Sapodilla Key Range is well recognized as part of Belize's territory. But both Honduras and Guatemala claim that range is islands, and the question of who should truly exercise sovereignty over it is now before the International Court of Justice in The Hague. Public hearings on Guatemala's application for permission to intervene in the case between Belize and Honduras were heard at about 3 a.m. Belize time today. In the first round of oral arguments, here's how Guatemala's agent framed the case for sovereignty over what they call Los Cayos Zapotillos.
Like Guatemala, Honduras considers that Spain had sovereignty over the Keys until 1821, when Central America became independent. That Great Britain recognized Spanish title on many occasions. That the British settlers' activities could not and did not displace Spanish title before 1821, nor that of the newly independent state that inherited it. And finally, that the convention between the Republic of Guatemala and Her Britannic Majesty relative to the boundary of British Honduras of 30 April 1859 did not apply to islands. Belize's actions impair equality between the parties in the Guatemala-Belize case and seek to introduce new arguments and evidence relating to that case through the back door of another case involving a third state, Honduras. At best, Belize's strategy in pursuing at this point in time a case against Honduras could only have been aimed towards prejudging its existing dispute with Guatemala. At worst, it is an attempt by Belize to prompt the court to dispose of an important aspect of Guatemala's insular claim without Guatemala's involvement.
In November of 2022, Belize instituted proceedings against Honduras to settle the sovereignty over the Sapo de la Keys. Belize and Honduras will make their oral arguments starting tomorrow. You can find a link to the hearings on our webpage. Highlighting that is 20 years of history and development. The Belize Coast Guard and the Ministry of Defense and Border Security held a symposium today in Belmopan to give recognition to past leaders and founders who played a pivotal role in the development of Belize's maritime security. Here are the highlights from the event.
Back in 2005, the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Musa saw the strategic necessity of having an agency dedicated to the maritime defense of our great nation and had the vision to see it to fruition. Since then, the Belize Coast Guard has evolved to also include law enforcement in the maritime space, deterrence of transnational crime, support to our fellow maritime agencies, and of course, support in attaining the national objectives laid out in Plan Belize 2.0. The evolution of the Coast Guard into the formidable organization that it is today would not have been possible without the consistent investment of the government of Belize and also the collaboration with other governmental ministries, non-governmental organizations who operate in the maritime space, and of course, without the unwavering support of our regional and international allies and partners. It is such a pleasure to see so many of you here today who have played such a pivotal role in the development of the Coast Guard.
Again, the original thought process of the Coast Guard of bringing under one entity all of these jurisdictions and roles and responsibility has certainly manifested over time. The Coast Guard is very well placed in support of security and defense. We have integrated seamlessly into the joint operating environment. For example, at the Joint Intelligence and Operating Center in Price Barracks, Coast Guard personnel account for 43% of that joint staff. And joint operations is where the Coast Guard really excels. We believe these missions cannot be conducted alone, so we rely on the joint operational environment to achieve this.
Finally, tonight, we note the 2025 Tourism Awards Gala, which was held on Saturday night. Winner included Tour Guide of the Year, Elvin Torres, Store Operator of the Year, Barefoot Services, Restaurant of the Year, Slayton Sapp, Health and Wellness of the Year, Naya Spa, Small Accommodations of the Year, Caribbean Beach Cabanas in Placencia, Site of the Year, Elijo Panty National Park, Hotel of the Year, Copal Tree Lodge, and Lifetime Achievement Award, Francis Ford Coppola. Congrats to all the winners, and you can find the full list on the BTB's Facebook page. And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good evening, and see you back here tomorrow at 6.